Good evening, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Tonight's story is gentle, emotional, and meant to help you relax. So get comfortable, slow your breathing, and allow yourself to drift into tonight's romantic sleep story. The Girl I Wasn't Supposed to Notice. Some people enter your life quietly. They don't arrive with drama or noise. They simply exist in the background until one day you realize they've always been there. Her name was Claire, and for most of my life, she was simply my best friend's younger sister. I had known Mark since college. We met during freshman orientation in a crowded lecture hall in Ohio, both pretending we knew where we were going. By the end of that first semester, we were inseparable. After graduation, life moved forward the way it usually does. Jobs, responsibilities, distance, but our friendship stayed solid. So when Mark invited me to spend a week at his family home in Oregon, I didn't hesitate. I hadn't been there in years. The house stood at the edge of a quiet town, surrounded by tall trees and long, open skies. It felt slower there, softer. Mark opened the door with his usual grin. "Man, you look tired," he laughed, pulling me into a quick hug. "Life does that," I said. And then I saw her. Claire stood at the end of the hallway, holding a mug with both hands. Her hair was pulled into a loose braid, a few strands escaping around her face. She was no longer the awkward teenager I remembered. She looked calm, grown, quietly confident. "Hey," she said softly. "Hey," I replied. That was it. Just one word. But something shifted. Over the next few days, I noticed her in ways I never had before. The way she listened more than she spoke. The way she smiled when she thought no one was watching. The way she stayed up late reading while the rest of the house slept.
The line we pretended didn't exist. There is always a moment, quiet, unremarkable, when something changes. You don't hear it. You don't see it. You only feel it later, when it's already too late to step back. The next few days passed gently, like pages turning without sound. Mark filled the house with laughter, stories from old friends, plans that stretched into the future. He didn't notice the subtle shifts. How Claire and I avoided sitting too close, how we spoke carefully, like words could give us away, how silence became heavier when we were alone. The line was there, we just didn't say it out loud. One afternoon, rain arrived suddenly, not heavy, just steady enough to slow the world. Mark left again, this time for work. The house returned to its quiet state. rain tapping softly against the windows. Claire stood near the bookshelf, pulling out a novel. "You can borrow this if you want," she said, holding it out to me. Our fingers brushed when I took it. Neither of us moved right away. It was brief, but it stayed. She cleared her throat and turned back to the shelf. "I loved this one," she added. "It made me feel understood." I nodded. "I'll read it." I nodded. "I'll read it." That evening, the power went out. Just for a moment at first. Lights flickered, then returned, then flickered again. And finally, everything went dark. Claire laughed softly from the kitchen. "Guess the storm's serious." Mark was still gone. The house felt different without electricity. Smaller, more intimate. We lit candles. Their glow softened the walls, blurred the edges of everything. We sat across from each other at the table, the distance between us suddenly noticeable. "You okay with this?" I asked. She nodded. "I like it," she said. "Quiet." The rain grew louder. "So," she said after a while, "why did you really come?" The question wasn't casual. I considered lying. Then I didn't. "I needed space," I said. "From everything. From myself." She listened. Really listened. "I felt stuck," she said. "After college. After relationships that didn't go anywhere." The candle flickered. "I always wondered what would have happened," she said quietly, "if things were different." My breath caught. "Me too." The words settled between us, warm and heavy. We moved closer without realizing it. Our knees almost touched. The room smelled like rain and wax and something else, something familiar. "I don't want to hurt Mark," she said softly. "Neither do I." That was the truth. We cared about him, loved him, and yet, sometimes feelings don't ask permission. She stood first. "I should go to bed." I nodded, stood as well. We faced each other in the candlelight, closer than before. For a moment, it felt like the world was holding its breath. Then she stepped back. "Good night," she said again. This time, it sounded different. Sleep didn't come easily, because now the line wasn't invisible anymore. And so begins a story of quiet moments, unspoken rules, and a love that was never meant to happen. Sometimes love doesn't announce itself. It waits, it watches, and it grows in silence. Rest now. Let the calm settle.